Mark Sainer, 361 firm. I'm here with Stephen Burke from ARS Investment Partners. We have been doing a briefing. We have just did our 284th, but really it's probably closer to 300 already because we've been doing this in London's September 2019. Because he steps into this office, he's always the first one there. He's already read the papers; they're all stacked up, and he's asking us questions. Have you seen this? Have you seen that? But really, there's magic behind Stephen because we're in his offices now. He has a whole team helping them every single day think through what's happening in the markets. And he helps us every single week. We've done it Tuesdays at 11 a.m. You should join us. It's a community that also engages. There's a lot of Q&A, a lot of insights from the community. Every week we bring somebody also that goes a little bit deeper. We might even have deep dives on topics. Because you can't be an expert in everything, although you're pretty good.
But it's really great, Mark. The community has so many subject matter experts covering virtually any area you're looking to invest in now. We're never that far away from having somebody that can give us the insights that we need. So it makes this the community that really makes it. So.
And we don't always agree.
No, that's part of the fun.
We don't always get it right.
No, but we're never in doubt. So we got that going for us.
We're just two kids from Midwestern liberal arts colleges, right?
That's right.
We're just trying to learn along the way,
Yep.
and try to bring in the experts. And you brought many. You brought, I'm going to blank on her
Nancy
name.
Lazar?
Yeah.
Ed Yardeni?
Yeah, because I was saying, and they've been part of the fabric, and we keep bringing, what we really like is to co-create with the community. So if you listening, you're new to us, or even if you've been to one of our briefings or meetups, we welcome expertise, insights, and then we have a discussion around them. So this past week we talked about what happened in Shanghai, we talked about gold.
Mm-hmm.
Barbara Durant came on.
Talked about valuations.
Right. Fed cuts, the commentary, how she sees. You guys are always talking about inflation. And all those dimensions. So it's good to just compare notes. We do it every week. And it's been a great, and thank you for really anchoring this part of it. Because it's an educational community. You've been, such a great professor.
Well, the unique dynamics of what's gone on in the world the last 15 years, but more specifically since we've been doing this, it's unlike anything we've ever been through. So
I remember something you said. I think it was Miles was quoting, or somebody was quoting it, or maybe it was the French. No, it was the Canadian Prime Minister that basically.
The rate of change has never been this great,
right.
And will never be this slow again.
Yeah, I think it's just kept accelerating.
Yep.
And now we have AI and all of its dimensions. Maybe it's Todd Rupert's been on to point out those with AI, the valuations. There's obviously a lot of hype, but there's also. Barbara Durant was saying, the ROI is, you're sitting bits and pieces of it, and we're just trying to navigate all these crosswinds. That now it's just accelerated crosswinds.
Yeah. You touched on our liberal arts backgrounds for both of us, but I think we're in an environment where everyone has to be students. And at ARS, we view ourselves as students of the market because it's tough to be an expert in a world that's uncharted like we're going through right now. And I think that's what's so cool about the community is when we engage in these briefings, you get the perspectives not only from the U.S. but from all over the world, and we're all learning together because things are moving so fast. So I think that's one of the really cool things about the community.
I think it was at our Newport event, someone had just said, look, I just check in for 30 minutes, and it's like sort of a composite of what he would have had from Bloomberg or CNBC or whatever it would be for the week, and I think that's part of what the 360 and 361 firm is getting the input. It's not having really amazing people speak; it's interacting and having a group discussion, messy but magical discussions.
It's funny. I was talking to one of the community members in our office 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about AI and how it's changing everything, and I was reminded of a quote. I think it was from Alvin Toffler or one of the former heads of GM, and they said that the illiterate of the future are not those that cannot read nor write, those that cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn.
Mhm.
And I think that's what this community does every week, is the advances in technology, we're vetting against what changes and how that goes. And I just think that kind of quote sums up what we do in this community all the time, is the world's moving and we're trying to keep up with it and get ahead of it. And the community's done a really good job of it.
And we're going to keep failing, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And so step back, where did this come from? You mentioned liberal arts, so really this all came from a small liberal arts school in Ohio, not too far from Gettysburg, Denison University. And when I came back from 8 years in Russia, 8 winters, I came to New York City, and I wanted to lean on my alumni community. So I ended up creating an event, a 360 circle, and that led to, we came up to 300 people and panels, and I would ask every panelist to talk about a failure and how you overcame it. Maybe, if you happen to talk about how the Denison Network helped you overcome it, or how your communities helped you overcome it, because you're not alone. I was just on a call with MJ Gottlieb, he was dealing with the addiction, that's sort of part and parcel. You are not alone, whether it's, not that you could be addicted to the wrong investment strategy, but you need to lean on people and have real, hopefully, people with real relationships that will be helpful.
I was just going to say that I'm remembering that when COVID hit, and first we had Giovanni, one of the members
In January.
in January we were at a dinner.
There's
and
this
he was-
thing called COVID.
Yeah, talking about COVID, and we're all like, it's an epidemic, or at best. And all of a sudden he was going, no, it's going to be something bigger. And then after that, when we started going remote, when we were fully remote in March, we then brought in some experts, and it would be helpful to have, and Bill Deukler had done a series, because you want to get Bill's thing in too.
Well, I'll tell my story about Bill.
Okay.
So Bill Deukler, we invited him. You asked me to invite some people to Henry Kissinger's speech and conversation at the New York Economic Club.
Yep.
And Bill was invited, and we said, 2 days later, let's do a debrief. We like debriefs. And Bill came with slides. And it was like really interesting slides. And I was like, okay, well, Bill, I'm going to call on you more. And we did. So we were looking for updates on what the heck is happening with COVID. So we did virus update. Actually, we called the virus. Then I think it was update number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We kept on inviting experts from the medical pharma community, and then globally, right, as to how everybody was seeing this play out. And that's what we do.
Yep.
It's a great it's a great example of Simon Vine, The Future of Work. I now realize why he was doing that. He was trying to figure out how to help his son and his kids.
Yep.
He's a very great father, and he's trying to figure out what is the future for children these days. And he wanted to have a son. I just saw them. I had lunch with him. He's in Harvard. He's thriving. But that's what we do. We just try to help each other around the topic. And if people, we've talked about a lot of topics, and we've gotten it wrong a lot.
Russia war? Might have whipped on that one.
One of my best was Stephen had, there are 6 scenarios, 4 or 5 days before the invasion, and basically he was like, well, this, I don't know.
It was the RAND group. I think they got it wrong. No, I got it wrong in my interpretation of their analysis. So that happens.
Yeah, no, it's been, I love to learn. I think a lot of people here, if you really love to learn, and it might not be specific about a stock like you're going to see on TV, like this stock is great and this is the way to play it. We're not, Jim Cramer lives in my, Summit, New Jersey area, is great, but that's not us. We're here to learn like what's behind the secular trends that behind everything. And what's great, back to, I'm just going to grab this Outlook, because for 50 years, you've been trying to figure out and invest along themes, right? And so that really goes well, whether you're in private markets or in the public markets. You really need to understand, some of the fundamentals of where the world is going, because you've got digital transformation as one of your themes.
Yeah, we're looking for where capital flows to and where it flows away from. And I think identifying the secular themes 3 to 5 years out and backing them up with in the public markets with companies we feel good about their valuations 12 to 18 months out gives you the right balance of not getting whipsawed by short-termism, which is so prevalent today. So that's really what we do, but the themes are the same themes, private or public, that are driving capital flows, so that's what we're focused on.
And everyone here, I think everyone except maybe the younger viewers may not know who Cal Ripken was. Do you know who Cal Ripken was? There you go. So he was Baltimore Orioles. He played a number of consecutive games. Never missed a game. I don't know how many games there was. I have to shout out to my grandfather who never missed a day of work for 30 years. But you, week in, week out, and the toughest one was I think, right as COVID hit, to put your neck on the line and say, what is going on, and you led, and what also was another great thing, and remember we did this funny video of celebrating you. Yeah. I gave this comedian like 3 sound bites. One was he shows both sides, the bears and the bulls, or the pros and the cons. Will Putin go to war? Whatever not. And so we can all think about it. And I think that's another. I don't know if that's the liberal arts education, just having a marketplace of ideas. So John Lockean, just thinking through things.
Could be the typical hedge that people who are doing these things like to do to protect themselves. No, I think it's just you got to understand both sides to then have your convictions. So we understand both sides, and then I share our convictions usually, but sometimes it's not that relevant to everyone how strong we feel about it. So I just let it go. But we take these and form it into a very defined view and get after it. So our strategies are high conviction. We are perfectly fine being completely out of sectors and overloading sectors. So it's a different way of managing money that people aren't doing.
And
in
some point in the 70s, 50% of your portfolio was oil and gas?
Actually, in 79 and 80, because of the National Gas Act, which required companies to increase pricing on a monthly basis, we went almost 100% into energy, and we're the top performing manager. And I think certainly in 79, I think it was in 80 as well. So we've been doing it.
That's called high conviction.
Yeah, that was high conviction.
I just saw your founder, Arnold, was walking the halls here.
And
how old is Arnold now?
He'll be 88 this month. So
he's still doing the piano concertos and
still playing the piano. Music and math are what drives him, and he's actually why I can do these briefings. He taught me how to think about the global economy and how to think about what matters for stock valuation. And I learned most of that here. Having been in the business 25 years before I joined here was actually interesting to...
Well, to your point, you have to learn, unlearn, and relearn.
Yep. And it was fascinating because most of the firms I worked with were more benchmark-oriented managers, so they didn't really have big points of view. Mm-hmm. And this firm, that's all we have, is big points of view. So to me, it's a more fun way to
What
manage.
are your big points of view right now?
I think while everyone's focused on AI, which is right because it's changing the world, I think the power issue is the determining factor. So we're big on how we're going to power up the global economy. We're big on the national security. We're big on digitalization, obviously, as everyone is, but it's getting the spots right. I think is going to be the hard part for people to navigate through the next couple of years. So when you get off is going to be one of the big issues as well. So I think those are issues. And then obviously healthcare, improving outcomes and lowering costs, big theme. And then the productivity theme throughout. And we have financial problems everywhere. So if we don't get the productivity right.
That's another theme, problems. It's always been part of 361 firm. And I think the one reason we get along is that it's not all about making money.
Right.
And I know you support, even part of your business is supporting people with special needs. You usually got your dogs
I got my
what's it called? Your
American Vet Dogs, where we puppy raise for Americans with
I
disabilities.
couldn't do that. I couldn't raise a dog and then give it up. That would be really super hard, but you do that, and that's an amazing thing that you do.
Well, if you see who they're helping, the veterans who come back, and today's 9/11, we're doing this recording, and 24 years after the day.
That's true.
And, veterans are still dealing with the issues from the wars that came out. And so my wife, when our kids went to school, wanted to volunteer, and we picked that cause. And they also do both veterans and people with blindness. So we're happy to support that. But as a firm, for 20 years, our impact investing is helping families with special needs members navigate all the issues around their trusts and government benefits and getting investment returns, and in many cases dealing with money that they've never seen the likes of and have to make it last a lifetime. So it's one of the rewarding things, and you have so many people in the community that are so philanthropic, and we all do things differently to achieve that. But I think that's one of the cool things about 361 as well, is philanthropy is one of the 4 cornerstones of the platform. So.
Thank you for watching. We hope to see you next Tuesday, 11 a.m.